Honestly speaking, this particular topic has been one that I've pondered for a while. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it because it's even hard for me sometimes to implement this very thing. But over some time, I've really learned how true, how powerful, and how liberating it is to take full and complete ownership of everything that happens to us in life. Now, I know that we can get really lost in our thoughts. We can get lost in reality. Well, this person did that to me. They said that to me, that's why I'm acting this way. They treated me like this, that's why I'm acting this way, that's why I'm guarded, that's why I'm so closed off, that's why blah, 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 fill in the blanks. And we have all of these reasons, which are justified because they happened and cause and effect is a thing. However, I've found that I'm my most happiest when I choose to consciously focus on things that make me happy, things that bring joy into my life. And when I allow my mind to slip into those spaces of victimhood, those spaces where I can't explain why something happened, because why would I allow something like that to happen to me? I love myself. I'm not looking to create pain in my life. I'm not just looking for drama. But yet and still, sometimes things don't go right. Relationships can bring you stress. They can cause you to suffer, doubt yourself, question your worth, and send you in a tailspin that you just don't see coming sometimes. And vice versa. They can make you feel like heaven on earth. They can make you feel so good. But I realize that we can be slaves to the events that happen in our life, in our lives. And being a slave is never a good thing, because it takes us out of our truth. And our truth is that we are powerful. We have the ability to focus our attention, which is our power, on things that make us happy and things that we desire, things that we want more of. So when I say take full responsibility, I'm telling you to own your power. I'm telling you not to consider other people's actions as something that happened to you wrongfully. I'm not telling you to pretend that things don't happen and that you consciously brought it all on yourself. I'm just saying, once something is done, it's done. There is no way for you to change what has been done on the physical plane. However, you refusing to give it power, you refusing to give it life, you refusing to allow it to completely saturate your mind, permeate your mental space, allows you to get back into the driver's seat. One of the harshest realities about this mindset is when people experience rape or abuse or some kind of discrimination. When you experience something that's traumatic, that you know this other physical being, this other person, this other entity did something to you that caused you pain. And not everybody stews in that reality. Not everybody goes downhill and, takes a turn for the worse, but a lot of us do. We get stuck because we don't understand what we did to cause that. And this is where I've developed this kind of all or nothing mindset when it comes to taking full ownership. If you're in that space of feeling like a victim, if you're in that space of feeling like somebody did something to you, then you will be in this place of life isn't fair. What did I do? They have to pay. Retribution. This isn't okay. I need to retaliate. Somebody has to get back at them. They need to apologize. You are looking for something on the outside to take place in order for your healing to begin. The problem with that is that you have no control over other people. You can see them in your mind and perceive them as one way or believe them to be this way. But let's just take an example. Somebody leaves your life for whatever reason and you really, really, really want them to come back. Your strong and deep and yearning desire for them to return does not produce them. You cannot control another person because they have free will just like you. And if they do not have that same desire to come back, they won't. So in a situation such as trauma, in a situation such as being violated in some way, being betrayed, someone doing something, someone violating you, someone that you trusted, someone that you just feel like took advantage of you. I'm not telling you to act like it didn't happen. I'm not suggesting that you put it out of your mind completely and forget the event like it was just a horrible nightmare. I'm saying that you are in control of the healing, whether or not they take responsibility for what they did, whether or not there is retribution, whether or not they're ever chastised for their actions. If you just jump in the driver's seat and say this to yourself. I could sit here. I could relive this experience like it is a broken record and it's on loop and play it over and over and over and over and over again in my mind until I lose myself. I can numb myself silly with all kinds of substances and vices so that I do not have to feel that which I do not want to heal. I could do all of these things that prohibit me from actually dealing with this pain, dealing with the reality of something that happened to me. Or I can say, I don't have all the answers, but I know that in this very moment, what I do have is the ability to decide to think about what I want my life to look like, about everything that goes right every single day, about where I want to go, about what I can do to heal. And if you just change the pathway, reroute, pivot, if you will, whenever you come face to face with a situation in your life that causes you pause, that makes you question your self-worth to other people, that makes you doubt your importance, that makes you think, oh, wow, I didn't realize this person was like that. I didn't think they would do this to me. What did I do? That makes you question your sense of competence, your sense of purpose, your sense of well-being, your sense of security, that makes you get into the space of being double-minded about your existence. Rein it in. Do not follow that thread, because what you give your attention to, what you put your focus on, what you think about on a regular basis is where your power goes, and it is what is growing. And unfortunately, we don't think enough about that until our thoughts feel like weights on our shoulders, until our mind feels like a prison that we need to escape from, because we can't stop trying to understand or make sense of that which we don't understand, that we experienced and that happened to us. Stop. Shit happens. Take responsibility on a blanket scale so that you can take power, so that you can speed up the healing process. Because once you feel it, once you put it in a box, and what I mean by a box is you define it. You decide that this is not too big for me to handle. This isn't something that I need to delegate. This isn't something that I need to send or outsource somewhere else because it's too much for me to process. This is under my control as long as I take complete responsibility for it. That's why you take responsibility. You'll have those people who say, well, what about kids who go through this? Or what about countries that are, being attacked? Or what about this war? What about this? What about this brutality? What about these things? These things happen. Life happens. People will take advantage. And you have to decide if you are someone who is being treated in a way where someone is asserting their power over you and you feel threatened, you feel violated. The faster you get out of that mental space of, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. What did I do? Where did I go wrong? How can I fix this? They need to pay. Before you go down that slide, say to yourself, shit happens. People will steal, people will lie, but people will also give. People will also love. People will also cater. And I choose every day that I have left in this physical experience, to be this kind of person, to be X kind of person, to think this way, to feel this way. You're taking ownership and responsibility and control over your emotions. I will not allow these outside influences to decide the kind of person that I am, the way that I will think, the way that I will feel. I will not allow them to determine who I am based on the way they are acting. Now, we have to navigate through this experience. We have to cohabitate. We have to find a way to deal with the intricacies of different cultures, different personalities, different ideas, different beliefs. But if we don't take control over what's happening on the inside of us, we will constantly be in the state of reacting and not creating. We'll be afraid of the world. We'll be afraid to open up. We'll be afraid to love. We'll be afraid to care. We'll be afraid to help. We'll be afraid to trust. So whatever situation you find yourself in, whatever you're going through a bad breakup, having depressive episodes, feeling like you don't want to be here anymore, if you've been molested, if you've been robbed, if you've been assaulted, if you're in a war-torn country, If you're in an abusive relationship, if your partner just up and left, if they stole from you, if they lied to you, say to yourself, I take 100% responsibility for everything that happens to me. That's part one. But the very next thing you say after you say that, after you take responsibility, after you own it, is that I forgive myself. Because what you've done is you've categorized, you've brought it home, you put it in a very, very specific box of my own shit that I have to deal with, that I can deal with, that I am in full control over. And then you sent that shit away with love. I forgive myself. You don't need to be specific. You don't need to ask any questions. You don't need to vacillate between how and why and what you're going to do different next time. I forgive myself. Because we spend so much time trying to understand what we did or how we could have brought about this experience or what we could have done better. And trust me, your body, your mind, you're going to remember the event and the situation. So you're naturally going to make the steps necessary to make choices that reflect that self-love because you do care about yourself. You're going to be more diligent. It's going to happen because that's what we do when we care about ourselves. It's a much different energy than coming from a place of fear, coming from a place of distrust of everybody around you. The energy is different. The flow is different. The vibe is different. The reason is different. I take responsibility for what happened and I forgive myself, which means that I know I am not perfect, which means that I know no one is. By loving yourself first, forgiving yourself first, you are allowing yourself to be human in this physical experience trying to figure shit out. So many people, they stay stuck. They stay stuck for so long because they believe they need something on the outside to give them the green light to keep moving, to heal, to get better. And I'm not saying that those placebos, if you will, are not powerful. Our beliefs make it so. But what happens when something dismantles that particular placebo? When something brings us face to face with the reality that it's us? What happens when that thing that we're using isn't available? How about you use your own power from within? And that is what this video is all about. Taking ownership allows you to feel that you have the power to handle shit. I have the power to deal with this. I have the power to heal this. I have the power to fix this because I love myself. I acknowledge that I have more power than I've been taught to believe that I have, more often than not. And I believe in myself to know that I can heal by focusing on the beauty of this experience in life. By being grateful and thankful every day of something, no matter how small, no matter how big, every day grateful of something. And by default, you heal.